Ava Phillips's life is upended when a casual history club overnight at a manor becomes a literal return to the past. She wakes in the 18th century, bearing memories of a modern 17-year-old trapped in a life she vaguely recognizes as her previous incarnation. In this new dimension, social mores are brutal, women are measured by marriages and children, and refusal to be courted early brands a young woman as strange and shameful. Ava's stubborn independence, persisting across both lives, makes her a target of scorn and maneuvering. Her village arranges a conservative match with General Thompson, a 60-year-old man whose union with her would be a safe ledger entry for the family. On the night before that wedding, restless and haunted, Ava stumbles into a tavern and meets a charming, golden-haired traveler. They drink away the world's expectations, share an intimate night, and when dawn comes he is gone, leaving behind only a golden pocket watch, an heirloom she tucks beneath her bodice. After her marriage with the general, Ava discovers that she is pregnant and Ava becomes a problem to be managed. Into that breach ride the Willems, a powerful ducal family from a foreign duchy who offer refuge and a solution. Their young duke, Alaric Willem, has publicly declared himself infertile. To protect their line in a world obsessed with blood and succession, the Willems propose a coldly pragmatic remedy: present a mother carrying an anonymous child as the ducal heir. Ava accepts the marriage as a means of survival, thinking of the traveler's warmth and the watch's quiet heartbeat. She does not know that the traveler, who left the watch, is the very duke she marries. At the first ball as Duchess, Alaric appears as the measured, aristocratic lord everyone expects. When the golden watch slips from Ava's dress and shatters on the parquet, its breakage triggers more than physical fragmentation. It fractures the seam between Alaric's private self and his public persona. The man who had been tender and reckless at the tavern recoils into icy formality. The light in his eyes dims and a cultivated aloofness replaces the warmth she remembers. He claims infertility as fact, and Ava, carrying his child from that vanished night, is bewildered and betrayed. She finds herself in a marriage built on layered deceptions, his concealment of identity, and the family's calculated plan to present her child as a Willem heir. As Ava presses for truth, she discovers that the golden pocket watch was never mere jewelry. The Willems' lineage is bound to ancient, predatory magics, bargains with witches and demons that granted the family shape-shifting and long power. But at an appalling cost. The watch is a mechanical seal, a lock that once contained a binding spirit, a demon's heart coiled around a name, used to control who could be born as heir and to ensure dominance across generations. The Willems have performed a complicated lie about fertility, claiming sterility had been a strategy to deflect scrutiny and preserve the fragile order of their pacts. In truth, their heirs could become vessels for something other than human succession, unchecked. Such births threaten to turn lineage into instruments of violence. Alaric's claim of infertility, too, is revealed as an act of protection. He had taken sterility as a cloak to prevent the court and rivals from using his offspring as political weapons, starving himself of intimacy and normalcy to forestall a greater catastrophe. The traveler, who loved Ava for one night, had been his unguarded self. The broken watch reawakened the Willems' old constraints and forced him back into the role of the dutiful, distant duke. Ava's discovery leaves her simultaneously relieved and enraged. Relieved to know why he lied, enraged that she had been managed and silenced. But the revelation also draws dangerous attention. Ava's pregnancy is no ordinary condition. As she learns more about her ancestry and the watch's dark magic, she finds powers stirring in herself. Witchcraft and demon genetics interweave with her humanity. Her senses deepen, the night speaks, and her body becomes a fulcrum between species and powers. To witches, shifters, and demons, she is either a prophecy or a threat. The Willems, the crown, and rival claimants, Alaric's ambitious older brother Aragorn, a scheming king, and a prince hungry for land, begin circling. Attempts are made on her life, poison, raids, and political machinations escalate until open conflict looms. Refusing to be reduced to an object, Ava transforms. She studies the Old Covenants, learns spell songs and the logic of treaties, and becomes a mediator between competing supernatural factions. Using both the modern sense of law and the arcane language of bargains, she negotiates with witches for protection and sanctuary, offers terms to shifters in exchange for military defense, and bargains with demons over naming and feeding rituals so children will no longer be bartered as vessels. She turns manipulation into governance. Instead of hiding or suppressing the Willem's cursed legacy, she seeks to rewrite it into accountable covenants where rights and protections are enforceable. Her role as a bridge costs her. She must learn to live with the hunger and temper the demon's influence in her blood. Meanwhile, Alaric's withdrawal and Aragorn's return deepen political tensions. Love between Ava and Alaric shifts from a wound to a slow, patient grafting. Alaric must learn to confront the burdens of his inheritance honestly. Ava must learn to forgive the difficult choices he made to protect his people. Their personal reconciliation is mirrored in broader political alliances. Ava's diplomacy brings witches, shifters, and even demons into a fragile coalition against the king and court mags who conspire to seize the Willem's artifacts and destroy their autonomy. War erupts when the king, allied with resentful court mags, marches on the duchy under the pretext of purging demonic influence. Ava stands at the citadel gates wielding a reforged watch, melted and remade into a talisman that can bind and unbind by name and intent. She convenes a council in an orchard, laying out a new social contract that promises guardianship for in-between children and legal accountability for supernatural bargains. The ensuing battle is a mixture of steel and sorcery. Morale and revealed betrayal turn the tide against the crown. The king's claims collapse as his allies defect, and as the populace recognizes the righteousness of a regime that protects its marginalized children and regulates old pacts. After victory and mourning, the realm invites Alaric and Ava to ascend, not as conquerors, but as reformers tasked with remaking institutions. The former king is exiled, and the prince's ambitions are broken. Ava's child is born as something new, neither purely demon nor purely human nor only witch, but a hybrid that embodies the era's possibility. The Willem's old pacts are retired and transmuted into covenants, legal instruments and rituals that bind rather than oppress, enforced by a new administration that consults both almanac and oracle. Ava, who began as a modern teenager misplaced in time, becomes the Duchess who crafted a new destiny out of imposed one. She and Alaric govern, imperfectly, but with compassion, turning the golden pocket watch from a tool of bondage into a symbol of promise. Their reign does not erase all danger, old gods and wounds persist, but it institutes checks that prevent children from being traded as political currency. In the quiet that follows war, Ava reflects on fate and agency. Rather than a ledger written by cowards, destiny can be amended by those brave enough to rewrite it. If you enjoyed this, listen to my audio series on Pocketfam, please like, comment, subscribe and share with family and friends. I'll see you in my next video.